Let's talk about Nintendo's conference. We did talk a little bit about some of the announcements. Well, let's kind of, I guess we can start in order, if I remember the order. Let's see if I do. I think Xenoblade Chronicles was one of the first discussed portions of the Direct. I'm just calling them Directs. So I guess Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will be coming out late this year, actually. We're still talking holiday 2017.
I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
But so what did you guys kind of think about Xenoblade Chronicles 2? I think this is maybe the first time we are getting a confirmation of it coming out in the West. Is that correct?
No, I think it was confirmed before.
Yeah, I think it was confirmed shortly after the Switch was announced. No, I actually, speaking with Emil, it was confirmed because I believe it was originally a Wii U release.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I believe that is correct. I may be mistaken, but Emil and I were discussing this at E3 in regards to its release. And I believe he had told me, and again, I might be mistaken on this, so forgive me if I might be the one mistaken here and he may not have said this, but I believe it was originally planned as a Wii U release, and then it was just moved to the Switch.
So, is there anything that you kind of got from the new Xenoblade Chronicles 2? It looks like the Monado is now personified, or at least, let's not say the Monado, I guess the titular blade in this particular game seems to... The Xenoblade. This truly is the Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I don't know, it's, why is Xenoblade so anime is the question that everyone's been asking.
If we are getting the sword personified, does that make this Xenoblade Chronicles Skyward Sword?
Master, you would be good to know that you are 5 miles away from a monster.
Yeah, I think that would make everything better in Xenoblade if the Monado had a battery meter and it said, you know, hey, your batteries are running low. Did you realize?
Your Joy-Cons are going to die.
This is the Monado's power, and it's at 20%. Please charge it in.
Master, you just picked up 5 gold.
Yeah, I need actually, can I set this to remind me every time I get specifically 5 pieces of gold?
Yeah. Can you imagine if in Xenoblade 1, every time you ran into one of those little like blue flame things that turned out to be an item, it gave you a notification Skyward Sword style? I think it would extend the playtime by like 70 hours.
Imagine that were in Breath of the Wild.
It'll send a notification to my phone.
You'd be actively avoiding them. People would be playing a game where they try not to run into the items.
Or in my case, try not to jump in the lava.
Xenoblade looks good. It's the second best trailer about fighting things and having a giant dinosaur.
I think you're correct on that.
Yeah, we'll have to get to that in a minute. Missy, what did you think?
It looks good. I'm excited. Oh my god, Xenoblade. I'm excited. I love Xenoblade already, and
She died.
I'm very excited.
I was about to say we lost her.
We never had her. Let's be honest here.
She's been lost all along.
Yes.
I'm always lost.
All right.
So I
guess yes.
Yes.
So,
do you have anything? God, I'm so good at this. I'm very good at this.
No worries. Well, I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I like Xenoblade Chronicles X. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as Xenoblade Chronicles. However, I'm going to do my best to avoid any spoilers here for those who haven't beaten the game, including Masay, I believe, hasn't finished the game either. I'm very happy to see that this is, I think we're returning to Bionis and Mechonis in this. Whether or not prequel, sequel, nah. But I am very, very thrilled to see this. And then the best part is I can play Xenoblade Chronicles on my 3DS and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on my Switch. Same flight, beat both. Probably not beat a single one, actually. I won't be able to beat...
Yeah, what kind of flight are you on that you're beating both Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2? It's a flight around the Earth 20 times.
We're going to the moon here. We're going to... we're just going to stop there before I do anything else. But yeah. Very excited to see it. I'm very. That's probably my top 5. Getting very long in that list. Top 5 most looked forward to games from E3. So.
Okay. I think next up we can talk really quickly about. We'll talk about as quickly as we have enough information about it. But so we're getting a new Kirby game for the Switch next year, assumedly. That's what they're saying. It looks a little bit like it's still using the Return to Dreamland kind of formula, but with the ability to choose different characters, a la, I would say, Superstar. How you're able to have a second player that can be any of the actual enemy characters. So what was your initial impressions from the Nintendo Direct seeing this new Kirby game for Switch? We can start with Misei.
I was very surprised, actually, because it wasn't too long ago that we got Robobot. So I was super surprised to see that we're already getting a new Kirby game, or even that they're like announcing a new Kirby game. Like I wasn't doubting that they had one in the works or something that was being produced, but for it to be far enough along for them to actually discuss it and show it in a direct at E3, it was just like, wow, I'm super excited about this. And just like the function of Superstar Ultra, where you get to pick your basically monster teammate, is super neat. I'm very much looking forward to that. But the thing that really has me particularly intrigued is ability to combine your powers. That's something that we haven't seen for a while. The last one that I personally played that had that sort of functionality was 64. Where you could mix and match your powers and different things would happen. Like, you could create a refrigerator with, like, an electric and an ice element, whatever, what have you. And I always really loved that concept. I'm pretty sure that there is another Kirby game that does that has happened since then, but it's something that isn't terribly common in the franchise. But I'm really happy to see it making a return in this new Kirby Switch game, and I'm so excited. I actually just purchased Planet Robobot today, and I was starting to play through that, and I don't know, Kirby has just been on a roll with its recent releases.
So Seth, Kirby.
Well, as I already said, huge Kirby fan. Again, I think I already mentioned that I do believe this might be somewhat of a remake or inclusion of Kirby Superstar just in general. I do want to see more about it. I would say, in contrast to Misei, though, I'm not surprised of this, to be completely honest. HAL Laboratory, aka Kirby the company, really spend a lot of their time primarily working on Kirby games. It's a lot like Pokemon. I mean, I don't think really anybody is surprised that we're already getting, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon later this year. That's just how the companies operate. And
That's
again,
fair.
it's a lot like Pokemon in the situation of we got Kirby
Triple Deluxe.
Yes, Triple Deluxe. Triple Deluxe. We had that, and I would say that's X and Y. And then we got Robobot. I'd say that's Oros. And then we get the Switch game. It's Sun and Moon. So that's the way I think about it. One of those intergeneration games. It doesn't introduce a lot, but it's still a fun game for some. It wasn't Disaster Ross level material, but
That's fair.
Planet Robobot was a very fun game. I really enjoyed it. Didn't really enjoy it quite as much as Triple Deluxe, but I'm really excited for it. I love Kirby.
I guess maybe
That's
my
all.
sense of time, especially with like game releases and how many things have been coming out, is just kind of skewed for me. So I feel like Robobot has come out a lot sooner than it actually did.
No worries. I can understand that. I mean, they are just throwing a lot of games at us. I would say my concern about this Kirby Switch game is based on history of Nintendo on the Wii U. They announced all these games at once and they didn't come out really as planned. I'm not worried about this though because it's HAL Laboratory. They're an independent per se game studio, so I'm not quite as concerned about that. We didn't get a Kirby
Fair.
game on the Wii U. Period.
Well, not the traditional style.
Right.
Kirby was on the Wii U.
Shut up, Kirby was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look, Kirby and Yoshi are the Nintendo's B tier of games. Basically,
Yeah.
they're the games that Kirby's never had a Ocarina of Time or a Super Mario 64 or a Donkey Kong Country, but it's a series that consistently produces some solid 8 out of 10 games on every platform. You know, you can pretty much rely on Kirby Game being solid, fun, accessible, and it looks like a good one of those. So yeah, seems like fun.
Kirby doesn't need to introduce a lot for it to be a fun game, and I think that's what even Sakurai and Iwata said when they first created the game in interviews, is they wanted a game where anybody with a little bit of patience could eventually beat it. And I think I'm quoting verbatim there too, so.
Actually, if you enjoy the Kirby and Yoshi series, might I suggest Chibi Robo Ziplash, because I'm the only person that ever played it.
You need somebody to talk to about it. That lore. That famous lore.
If it wasn't painfully obvious, yeah. Also look forward to Hey Pikmin. So after that, we got a little bit, I didn't talk about it, I'm not Nintendo. They talked a little bit more about Pokken, but then announced that they are indeed developing a new Pokemon for the Switch. A couple of weeks ago, they talked about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as we've previously discussed very briefly, which will be sort of an enhanced, I would almost call it a platinum, even with as little information as I have. It's kind of like a platinum version. How Platinum sort of changed the story very, very minuscule, and then changed character designs a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think Black 2 and White 2 are probably the most direct comparison.
Yeah, I would disagree on the Platinum. I would say these seem again, very little information. It could be that. I don't think they would do it with both games. I think we're going to see more of a Black and White. Black 2 and White 2. Maryland and I have theorized that maybe this is an alternate universe where he wants to see Kukui as the bad guy and things like that. Where anything's possible, but that's how I kind of see it going to. I would say, however, on the topic of Pokemon on the Switch, there were so many people surprised about that, in either good ways or just didn't see it coming. I'm not surprised by anything Pokemon does at this point. I know people always say, well, Stars. No. Zed. Pokemon Gray. I'm still waiting for Pokemon Gray Z Stars. We're not getting it.
Yeah.
Nothing Game Freak does in this franchise surprises me anymore. I no longer make predictions because of that.
I mean, I would be surprised. I think the main thing about this announcement is basically that it was a middle finger. They basically said, "Shut up. Look,
no, I was just
know you
about
didn't
to
like
say that.
I know you didn't like our other announcement, but look, we're working on a Switch. We don't have any details for it, but shut up."
Literally though, that entire segment just screamed please stop talking to me. Just it had nothing to it. It was basically just yes, it exists. Please stop.
Please stop getting on Masuda's blog and making comments saying Pokemon Switch. I want to make a quick point about the game development process in regards to this, though, because people also said that about Metroid Prime 4. We didn't see anything but not even a title per se. It's just Metroid Prime 4. It exists. It's in development.
Is now in development.
I swear, it could not have been in development for longer than a year and a half, or even a year.
It sounds like the people developing it were surprised at the announcement too.
I genuinely, because a lot of people say, oh, these games are being developed for years before they're shown. Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. I think this Pokemon Switch, and also this, to be fair, Game Freak is one of the first, if not the first, second, third party-ish. Technically, Game Freak is in that category with HAL, where they're sort of independent, sort of not. I mean, Game Freak publishes games on the PlayStation. We have that elephant game. What is it called? The Badass Elephant. It has a name there, though.
Yes, the Badass Elephant game.
I mean, but they're one of the first companies to get Switch dev kits, so I'm not surprised. But again, it's one of those, I'm not expecting to see much anytime soon, and that's fine. It exists. Good enough for me.
Masay, you kind of chimed in a little bit with the kind of the middle finger concept, but did you have anything else to say about it?
No,
or
not honestly, not really.
Was?
I was expecting it. There was no doubt in my mind that eventually something would be coming out of that nature, and there's just not enough info to work with or to like make any predictions on it. I'm not surprised by essentially a Black 2, White 2 type deal with Sun and Moon, and I'm not surprised with Pokemon on Switch. It's one of those things where even though I am excited for it, and I am very curious in as to what direction they're going to take with it, particularly Pokemon Switch. But other than that, there's not really much that I have to say about it.
Damn it. Speaking of we're working on it, shut up announcements, let's talk, I guess, very briefly about Metroid Prime 4. I think my big question here is, where do you go as a 4? I thought that Prime 3 sort of wrapped up the Prime trilogy with a nice little bow. Why are we extending this? What do you guys think?
If you don't mind, I would like to go first on this little nugget. As
you have the floor.
I was grilled extensively by Masay, Chugga, Maryland, and Yoshiller at Emil's house in May in regards to the Metroid franchise entirely. So let's just unwrap this little gift from the Nintendo gods, if you will. I have no idea where they're going to go for it, to be completely honest. However,
that's a good setup.
Here's my thoughts. Other M is the
best
first,
in the series.
Not the first. It's Metroid Other M happens directly after Metroid. Oh my god, what's the Metroid Prime? Super Metroid, the most famous game in the series, really, happens right after that. Other M is not Metroid 5. The first Metroid games, they're literally called in the title screen Metroid 2, Metroid 3, and Metroid 4, Metroid 4 being Fusion. Fusion happens after Other M as well as after Prime per se. It's the timeline's kind of weird. Even Sakamoto has said that the Prime series is sort of retconned. I have no idea what they're doing with the plot. It's not Zelda territory. We have one Samus, but as terms for plot, no clue. A lot of people are theorizing something with Silex. He's appeared in several games now as just sort of a guy over there doing something. We don't have a clue what. Hate Samus for some reason, but that's sort of just par for the course for Samus at this point. Everybody hates her, except for babies. But aside from that, what is on my mind isn't the plot, isn't the timeline, not even the gameplay. It's the developer. Retro is not developing Metroid Prime 4, and it is being spearheaded by Sakamoto. Now, a lot of people who've spoken to me about Metroid know that I respect Sakamoto. Did not like his direction of Other M one bit. And that's my concern, is I'm not worried about the plot really, but I hope we get better direction if there's voice acting in this game, which I have no doubt there will be. Just please direct it better. And I'll discuss this with Samus Returns too. Because people are saying, Seth, what did you think of Samus Returns gameplay? It's changing everything in Metro. It's like, yeah, but it looks cool. I mean, change isn't bad. It's just if stuff is bad, it's bad. So I'm excited for Prime 4 nonetheless.
And Return of Samus was actually announced.
Or Samus Returns
again at. I think it's Return of Samus.
Return of Samus is Metroid
remake,
2.
But
Metroid 2 is, the original was Return of Samus. The remake is Samus Returns. And then you have AM2R, which is just another Metroid 2 remake.
I think, again, that was another thing. You're talking about how Sakamoto's taking the helm on Metroid Prime 4. He also briefly mentioned that with Return of Samus, he wanted to create his own take on it because he was not the director of that game. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about that later, but I think keep that in the back of our heads. Masay, what did you think?
I have no opinion. I'm happy for people who are excited.
Excellent. I can morph
I'm not
your
into
very
Metroid.
being into being a Metroid fan.
I was about to say, cool, Cody, you're next.
Alright. Metroid. I know him. He's that character in Super Smash Brothers.
He's that robot from Smash Brothers, I think.
No, he was I think he was an add-on for the NES, and they added him in Smash Brothers. So
Yeah, why can't
pretty
Metroid
cool.
crawl?
he has like
Why
a
does it do
fidget
that for
spinner
sure?
that he shoots at people.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah. So look, Prime 4. It makes sense. If they want to have hype around a Metroid game, they're not going to make Metroid Other M 2. So it makes sense that they're going to make Metroid Prime 4. And I think it's because it's just got the... It's the same reason they called that Rocket League spin-off Metroid Prime. It's because Metroid Prime is a good name. It's a good name to attach to things. Yeah, look, I think it's a genre that's currently missing from the Switch.
Yes.
Nintendo does not have any... Is there a shooter on the Nintendo Switch?
No, there are currently no shooters on. Well, there will be an arena-style third-person shooter coming in the next month. Or if you're probably seeing this on the first day, it's released about 2 months ago.
Yeah,
But
there are no atmospheric first-person shooters. There's no none of that kind of thing, and I think it's something that gives. I think it's something unique that will bring a different set of people to the system. I think Metroid has fans that are not necessarily the same as Mario fans or Zelda fans. There's crossover, of course, because they're on the same console, but you know, the 3D Metroids don't have much in common with any other Nintendo property. Super Metroid and that, you know, people who liked platformers probably enjoyed it, but the Metroid Prime trilogy was something fairly unique for Nintendo, and I think they're going with a wide range of stuff on purpose. Nintendo, they've made Splatoon, an arena third-person shooter, or whatever you want to call it. They've made ARMS a fighting game. They've released like Hyrule Warriors. They're releasing Mario and Rabbids, a strategy tactics game. It's clear that they're intentionally making it so that their first party and second party offerings are not just retro platformers, that there's going to be a bunch of other stuff around it as well. And yeah, as to who's making it, I don't know. I mean, if Retro Studios presumably must just be working on Donkey Kong Country, which I really liked Tropical Freeze, so I'm happy if they do that, but I'm not sure who should be working on Metroid.
I mean, it could very well possibly just be in-house.
Yeah, I think it is EAD.
Yeah, but that's a question of like, in-house there are a bunch of different teams that have made different levels of product. So we'll just have to see. It's you know, because even like the Mario 2D games tend to be made by like the B team of the Mario crew, but then the Mario Galaxy A crew have been working on Odyssey. There's different levels of talent, different levels of experience. Are they bringing in a new crew of people? Are they bringing in some of the fresh faces, or are they, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hello, I like Mario.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. He's in Super Smash Brothers.
But moving right along, let's talk about another game that was sort of announced pretty briefly. We got to see a nice trailer for it, but we are getting a new Yoshi game in 2018 for the Switch. Apparently, and I didn't know this until recently, but it's being built off the Unreal 4 engine, so it's kind of nice to know that the Switch can handle it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Unreal Tournament Yoshi Edition.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been asking for. Nintendo got my letters.
They haven't had any Unreal Tournament games in like 15 years. I don't know.
Forever.
Forever.
Oh man. Masay, what was your initial impression with this new Yoshi
Oh my
game?
god,
It's
I squeed.
pretty different.
I squeed. I was so excited. Oh my god, it hit me right in the heart. I was like, oh my god, it's Yarn Yoshi. I love this. I was so excited about this. I actually, okay, confession, I've never finished Woolly World. It's really good from what I've played of it, but I just ran out of time and I just never went back to go play it. But from what I did play of it, I really enjoyed it, and if this is anything like that, which it looks really good from what little that we have seen of it, I'm so excited. I love Yoshi as a character and just as a cute little creature, and to stuff him with cute stuffing and stitch him out of yarn and is just like, oh my god, this is going to be the greatest thing ever, and it makes my heart happy. And also, like, to be honest, part of what makes me super excited about this, and I'm one of those people who's super heavy on the amiibo train. I have a lot of amiibo, and I'm trying to collect a lot of them. I missed the boat on the bunch of Zelda ones that came out the other day, but who cares? Yoshi, I'm really excited for the possibility for new Yarn Yoshi amiibos, because those are my favorites.
Yeah, the important bit.
Those are my absolute favorites, and they're so adorable, and this game looks really cute, and I'm excited.
I really do like how they're really fleshing out how, like, Yoshi games in particular are, let's focus on a really cool art style and just fucking run with it.
Yeah, I feel like that's been working out very well for them.
Yeah, I mean, Yarn Yoshi in particular, I mean, Good Feel, that game just looks so good, and they did a really good job with it. And then this is sort of like continuing that tradition of really interesting artistic licenses, and it just looks fantastic, honestly. So, Seth, what do you think?
I'm a Yoshi fan. I liked Yoshi's Woolly World. I think I'm going to enjoy this game as well when it is inevitably released on the Switch. Please, just no more Yoshi's New Island.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's all I ask. That's about it.
Cody, what did you think?
Oh yeah, Yoshi, I know him. He's from the Super Smash Brothers. No, that was my, repeating jokes makes them funnier. So
that's what he tells us.
Look, Yoshi is like, look, I don't mean to be cruel, but Yoshi's like the Sonic the Hedgehog of Nintendo.
Oh,
Yoshi had one good game in like the Super Nintendo era, and has been coasting on it ever since. Like, it's and just like Sonic, probably the best Yoshi games have come out in the last 10 years. It's just a series that's like, it's had some good stuff, but also, yeah, like you were just talking about it, the Yoshi DS, the Yoshi's New Island. There's been some like 6 out of 10 games coming out of the Yoshi series lately, which is, compared to Nintendo's normal track record, is notably underperforming. But I think Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi's Yarntopia, I think great game. But yeah, it's just, that's the one series that I'm probably like least. It's one series that I would look at the reviews for before buying, whereas for like Zelda or Mario or Pokemon, I would just buy it because I know what.
But personally, if I may interject real quick, personally, I feel like the Yarn Yoshi is a little bit separate from like the previous Yoshi games. That's just me though, but I almost feel like it's in a different line than the other Yoshi games. Kind of like how Kirby's Epic Yarn is not really all that much like a Kirby game, but it is technically Kirby, but it's separate.
Yeah, and to that, like, you could also say, I mean, all 3 of the Good Feel games that have come out for Wii U, respectively, I mean, Wario Land Shake It in itself is also kind of like, I wouldn't bundle it with Wario Lands 1 through 4. It's kind of its own thing.
Oh yeah, that reminds me, where's WarioWare?
Where's Waluigi, bro?
The real question. But yeah, look.
He got fired and replaced by 1-2 Switch.
Yeah. It could be good is basically my answer, but it could be good, but I'd have to check just because, yeah, there's been a few dodgy like handheld Yoshis lately.
Right.
That's fair.
That's fair. We've got a couple more announcements for Breath of the Wild. We are getting 2 DLC packs. We knew that before, but the first DLC pack will be launching June 30th. So this Friday, right? Oh, nice. As well as the second pack of DLC, which will be coming out, I believe, in winter, if my notes are correct. They announced 4 new amiibo. So, Masay, if you're falling behind on the Zelda ones, but they've also announced their single-player campaign expansion, which is the Champions Ballad, featuring all 4 champions of Hyrule, which are also going to be your new amiibo figures whenever they get released.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get some reactions. Cody, what did you think of the sort of the news surrounding this new for single-player DLC?
It looks good. All of it looks good. I enjoy that there is DLC that is good. I think Nintendo. This is the first time a main Zelda game's really had any kind of DLC. There was technically a patch because they had a game-breaking bug in Skyward Sword, but it doesn't really count as DLC. It's looking good. Both the DLC Pack 1, which got a release date announcement, that looks really good. The hard mode looks good with the the balloons propping up, the balloons just floating through the sky with rafts with, bokoblins and things on them. It looks like fun. But the second pack, what was it called? The Champions something is what they're calling
the Champions Ballad.
The Champions Ballad. So hopefully that means Cass will be releasing his second single.
So we're going to get Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses, the Ballad of the Champions Symphony Tour sometime.
Yeah, and someone's gonna come out with an accordion or something, I guess. So that will be a fun one. That's for saying Ella, if you're wondering how a mouse got in here.
Well, she was just telling us the ESRB rating for the new DLC.
It's
E. Rated squee for everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I was sort of hoping for prequel-y stuff, and that looks like what we're getting. It seems to be set 100 years ago, or at least it would have to be to have the champions involved in it.
Right.
Which is the part that I think people are the most interested in, because people who've had critiques of Breath of the Wild so far, story has been probably the main one. There wasn't as much as there has been in other Zelda titles. So if the DLC actually manages to give a lot more depth to, the sort of main characters of the story, which is the Link, Zelda, and the 4 champions, and Sidon, the main characters, that would be great. If we could just see baby Sidon.
Oh my god.
Masay, what are your thoughts on the new DLC?
I'm really excited. I'm kind of like in the camp that I didn't find. Okay, yes, that does wrap everything up, doesn't it?
See you guys next time.
I'm kind of in that camp where the lack of story didn't bother me too much, honestly, in Breath of the Wild. So I didn't feel like there was anything that was really necessary, but I'm so happy that it's happening. I do hope that there is more clarification, or not clarification, but more expansion on the story, because I love story. If it's there before me, then I won't turn it away. But yeah, I'm just really ready to experience it and sink even more hours into Breath of the Wild than I already have. I'm particularly wanting to dig into that hard mode that's been getting tossed around, because I'm a glutton for punishment and I will play the heck out of that, despite the tears of agony.
And I guess that
You
will
and
give
I,
your
Master
mother
Quest.
like 800 more hours of content to do in hard mode.
You know
Exactly.
it. You know it. As soon as she hits 1,000 hours, I'm going to tweet that.
Patricia! She did it again!
She done it again.
Look, she did it!
Alright, so again, and Seth, what are your thoughts on this? Because
So-
I was about to do it again.
No worries. I was going to say my only gripe with Breath of the Wild was the plot, and I know a lot of people were being lambasted for that online. How, you shouldn't just pay attention to the story. It's a great game nonetheless. Yeah, but the weak point is the story, in my opinion. If there is a weak point at all, it's the story. So I'm really happy to see more about that. So that's only my thought.
did need more fire.
I'm surprised that hard mode isn't free. But aside from that, I got nothing. I'm really excited to see it.
It is still kind of weird to see like something as simple as a difficulty mode become like a paywall. But it does look like they've included a lot of extra interesting stuff that you can kind of get a look at in the trailer. So maybe it's all worth it.
I think I'd be a lot more angry about it if it were just the hard mode that were behind a paywall.
Oh,
But
yeah.
because it's bundled with like so many other things, I kind of don't care.
The
Right.
DLC Pack 1 in general is not that worth it. It's mostly there as a warm-up to DLC Pack 2, which seems to be the main event. But you buy it in a bundle, so...
Right.
Overall, it's worth it. I think Nintendo does well on their pricing of DLC packs, Fire Emblem excluded. If you, I don't know if you've
They
seen
do their best.
There's like $150 DLC or something for the latest Fire Emblem, right?
Rip.
Oh yeah,
I think
no,
I
no,
know
no.
what
It's
you're talking about.
it's about $60 or $70. It's more expensive than the game itself. Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. Yeah,
Okay.
still a great game, by the way. I should point out. Don't ignore that game just because of pricey DLC. It's a great game.
So let's talk about Return of Samus. Again, coming out September 15th, 2017. Seth, you've mentioned that you sort of co-developed or developed the AM2R fan game.
Right. So I was on that project as a coordinator and as a copy editor. I helped do get the voice acting together for that and did some of the scripting and threw around some ideas for areas. I was also a beta tester. So, and as a Metroid fan, half of my name is Phazon. Half of my username is Phazon. You can't tell I'm a Metroid fan based on that alone. But I loved my time working on AM2R. Milton, who developed the game, put his entire life and passion into that game. Over 10 years developing that game because he wanted a Metroid 2 remake in the style of Super Metroid and Zero Mission. Really shows, and it's probably the best put together fan game of any Nintendo license I've ever seen. I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. So, as you may already know, though, my thoughts on Other M and Federation Force are sort of at best. People suspected that I was going to be very angry about Samus Returns. I am not. I'm I'm happy. This is a 2D Metroid game. We got another 2D Metroid game. There are probably going to be things I will dislike about it, but I will not dislike the fact that they are going back to this and doing it, and I have nothing but support for Nintendo. I have nothing but support for even Sakamoto and the entire team surrounding this. This is what Metroid fans wanted. They've been asking for this. We're getting it. Let's be happy and give it a shot.
Further to that point, is there anything that you saw or kind of enjoyed from AM2R that you would kind of hope is experienced in Samus Returns?
You know what? We were talking about this in development, in the development Discord, about what we are interested in seeing in Samus Returns. We don't really suspect we're going to see any inspiration from AM2R, per se. From what it sounded like, Sakamoto and that team had never really played it. They were aware of it, but not much more beyond that. I like the melee attack Samus has. I think that's pretty cool. That wasn't in AM2R. That's just the thing I wanted to say. I think that was really cool. Area designs, this seems like a revision of SR388 more so than a remake. or more than a ported remake. I can't really explain that very well. It feels like a full-fledged remake in the terms of, Final Fantasy VII as a remake, more so than just a port with some interesting changes, it's like beyond even Zero Mission of Metroid. I guess that'd be a very good way to put it. The music, as soon as I heard the Lower Norfair / Magmore Caverns in Samus Returns, I'm thinking, great, they're putting good music into this as well, which AM2R also did. In terms of anything I think they could pull out of AM2R and put in, I can't really think of anything. We're talking about Nintendo versus a small group of people. I think Nintendo has the advantage here. They're gonna probably come up with a lot of great creative things that we couldn't come up with. So that's great. I'm happy to see that. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I don't think we can compare AM2R to Samus Returns, and I don't think we need to compare AM2R to Samus Returns.
Everyone is going to absolutely compare AM2R to Samus Returns.
We don't need to. They are two completely different things, and you can look at them both in their own rights and what they bring to the table. There doesn't need to be a comparison, and please, again, I just want to reiterate, if you are putting off buying Samus Returns because of AM2R and what happened around it, you need to support Metroid! Come on, you need to support this franchise, and I think this is what we want to support right here, more so than we've seen in the past of the franchise. I think they're all very unique, and they can all be enjoyed in their own ways, and I won't say any single iteration is better than another.
Cody, what about you?
Yeah, I know Metroid. He's
the
my
guy
favorite. He's the guy from Smash Brothers. Look, as the official negative person here, I'll just bring up that the developer seems to be the developer of the okay-ish Castlevania 3DS game.
Yeah,
not just the 3DS game, my friend.
Yeah.
Also the full 3D ones on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Castlevania, of course, is the natural. If you're gonna have someone to make a 2D Metroid game, you might as well bring in a Castlevania developer. They call it Metroidvania for a reason.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense in that sense, but we'll just have to see with the developer. We'll see how they do with the property.
Okay. So let's keep moving. I think I originally said that this was only going to be an hour, and I think we're at almost 2. Yeah, we're over 2. Mm-hmm. Because I'm really good at keeping time. So there were a couple other announcements. We got a Rocket League announcement, but I mean, it's Rocket League. One of the interesting things that we got, and it was rumored, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, or people talked about it online a little bit, but Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga's remake is coming out for the Nintendo 3DS.
I played that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We did play that in the VIP area. Were they available to play outside? Oh.
Hey, Masay, did you play Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga in the VIP area at E3?
Sure diddly did not.
Sure. Oops. What are your thoughts on that? Does that seem unfair?
My thoughts are, you suck.
Oh no! I knew this would happen.
Suddenly
That's why we didn't want to tell you.
Oops. Yeah. That's a thing that was there. Can I go now?
Whoopsie doodles.
Yeah, no, so basically everyone except Masay had fun playing at E3.
I did too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell you, Masay, but I also played.
Yeah, Reggie went to his house to let him play since he wasn't able to go to E3.
Yeah, they just
opened a New Yorker pizza from Pizza Hut. We settled down. We had a good time.
They opened it at every GameStop except, across America. So actually everyone except Masay has actually played it.
Christ!
No,
anyway, so
look, it seems like a fun mini game. I played the Bowser's Minion thing. It probably could have been released as an iOS game from what I'd seen, but it seems like they're just, a relatively good iOS game. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm just saying that in terms of how much it would sell for if it was on its own. They'd be selling it for under $5, but it seems like it's a nice, just little additional pack to the remake of Superstar Saga.
Seth, what was your take on it?
I'm a big fan of the original Superstar Saga. I'm very interested in playing this again on the 3DS. That's about it. And as Cody already said, the additional game mode is just sort of there, but it ties into the game. It's not just random. It's just disjointed, I guess. And I wish it were actually implemented into the game, similar to the Bowser gameplay of Thousand Year Door or the Peach gameplay of Thousand Year Door. Just include it in.
Right.
Don't make it a separate mode.
Yeah. It's sort of a completely separate mode. Like, you'd go into the pause menu and you'd go Bowser's Minions, and you might get bonuses and things for going through parts of Bowser's Minions. It might give you coins in the actual game. I'm not sure how they've integrated that, or if they have. But yeah, it's just a little mini game, as far as I can tell, that you can play in the pause menu. Like in Professor Layton or whatever, where you can choose to stop solving puzzles and start helping your mouse lose weight or whatever.
That's a thing, apparently. I'm gonna take your word for that.
Or it might be a hamster. Look, I haven't played the
I have
game
no
in a
clue
while.
what's going on.
What, has no one else played that game?
Can't
I
say
don't
that I
think
have.
there's. Yeah.
Alright.
I don't think so.
Well, viewers, you know what I'm
We'll
talking
take your word
about.
for it. Do they though? Do they?
People
We'll
at
be
home.
making all this up.
Anyone
and we wouldn't know.
dedicated enough to be 2 hours into this probably has played every Nintendo game.
It's true.
There's got to be some cut content. So, Masay, what was your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, I've heard of Mario and Luigi.
He's that guy from
They're-
Smash Brothers.
He's that guy from
Deep
Smash Bros.
sigh.
And he's got his
Okay,
emo
no,
brother.
I'm actually very excited about it. Okay. Bitterness aside, I'm actually very excited about
You're
Mario
like the
and I'm
Luigi of E3.
Wow! I will leave this call. But anyway, I'm very excited about it. I am. One thing that kind of worries me is that apparently the sprites don't capture the same feeling as like the previous game, and they're not as emotive. And that's one of my favorite things about the Mario and Luigi series, is how emotive and how expressive the animations are throughout. And if that's something that's missing from this remake, then I'm not sure it's going to stand up on its own in comparison to the original. But we'll see. That's something that I'm going to have to see, and maybe it might even just be an early build right now that they're showing off. But as long as it's still expressive and as long as it still has that charm, then I'll be happy.
Okay. And maybe one of these days you'll get to play it.
Oh.
August 6th, 2017 is when the game comes out. We will find out everything that we need to know about it once it's released then. So I think now we can finally talk about the star of E3 2017 for Nintendo at least.
That's right,
Super
it's
Mario
Ni no Kuni
Odyssey.
2. Oh.
Ni no Kuni 2, everybody. Game of the century. So what did you guys sort of take away? We definitely discussed this at the beginning of this 2-hour session, but what are you most looking forward to when it comes to Odyssey?
No time limits.
And I was
Pauline.
gonna say, Masay, you
Sorry.
can start.
Sorry, I got really excited because this is actually very important to me. But the fact that there's no time limits and the fact that there's that you have time to go and explore, and the whole point of it is to explore the surroundings and see what's around you and take your time. I get it that that's where Mario's roots are from, and I get it that that's a whole gameplay genre in and of itself, to kind of see how quickly you can mash through these stages and things of that nature. I get that, and it's valid in and of its own right, but I've missed I've really missed the gameplay aspects of games like Sunshine and 64, and I'm so glad to see this open world exploration type deal coming back to Super Mario Odyssey, and that's what has me the most excited for this game as compared to a lot of the recent Mario games, actually. Even 3D World, as much as I love 3D World and as much as I enjoyed playing through that game, I was not as excited about that as I am Odyssey by any stretch. And I'm very pumped. I'm super excited, super looking forward to just being able to take my time and explore and possess some enemies. That's a pretty rockin' detail.
They released the Switch early is because during development of Odyssey on the Wii U, they discovered, guys, I don't think it's a good idea to make players throw their Switches and to throw their gamepads to possess enemies. Maybe we should just make a completely different console for this. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Well, aside from the stuff that Mercedes just mentioned, the soundtrack is what I'm looking forward to because they're bringing swing back. Swing hasn't been back in about 80 years.
It's time.
It's time. It's as far as Mario 3D World, the most memorable, the favorite part of Mario 3D World for me was when you got to Bowser's area, and it turns out Bowser is jazz.
Smooth
jazz.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
1059.
He's just jazzed to see you.
He's just jazzed. So,
well,
and
made
now,
it to his wedding.
And now the style is back. They're all wearing wedding outfits. Mario's got a top hat, and they're playing swing, like jazz, swing, or whatever. And Pauline, who hasn't been seen outside of Smash Brothers trophies for 30
and Mario
years.
and Donkey Kong.
Mario versus Donkey Kong,
yeah.
Yep.
Is back.
Game.
So
am I the only one who thought New Donk City was New Dong City?
Yeah,
I'm sure
maybe.
So yeah, look, the soundtrack looks like it's going to be really promising, because Galaxy had a fantastic soundtrack. 3D World had some standout music, and just the songs with lyrics. I think that might be a first for the Mario main series.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah. If we get a Nintendo Symphony, just throwing it out there, let's get that song going, okay?
Yeah. So, but I mean, obviously the main thing is that it's a big new open world Mario, but since that was already covered, I just wanted to mention that the soundtrack's looking great so far.
Good. Seth, what have you got to say?
I'm really excited. That song will never get out of your head once you've heard it. Aside from that,
heard
the
it for
gameplay.
3.5 hours while waiting in the line.
This is very true. I enjoy the gameplay. I'm a big fan of the gameplay that I played when I was playing the game.
Yep. Is that what you do when you're playing the game?
That's what I've been told.
I like
secondhand.
video games.
No, you know what? I'll be honest. 2/3 of my experience with Odyssey was just watching other people play it. I didn't play it until the third day. Literally the last hour of E3. I finally played it. And the gameplay is just, I don't know how to describe it. It feels like a larger version of Super Mario 64. It feels very 64-esque with a mix of Sunshine-esque plaza area versus the 64 where you didn't have Piantas or anything. Mixed with a bit, one thing I don't know how I feel about it yet is the sort of questing kind of thing where you have missions to do and things together. I don't know how I feel about that yet. It can be good. I'm not saying it's bad. I just have no real thoughts on that quite yet. It could be very good. The implementation of the 2D gameplay is really fun. Again, I think that could have been also done in Sunshine, just as an aside. But other than that, I am very much more excited about this than I was Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U.
All right. I think that pretty much covers most to all of the E3 announcements. It took us a while, but we got there.
Yeah.
We missed one. We
yes,
missed
Monster
one.
Hunter is not coming out in North America. All right, see you guys.
I was going to
miss?
talk about FIFA, and then
Oh, that's right. And we didn't talk too much about Mario and Rabbids.
we're talking specifically Nintendo, not that Ubisoft EA stuff. Just kidding.
We do know that EA is supporting the Switch with FIFA. Did they actually announce anything else besides FIFA for the Switch?
Oh, it has it's guaranteed to not have glitches. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, look, we know which sports games are coming to the Switch. They're gonna have FIFA, they're gonna have Madden. They still have FIFA and Madden coming out for the PS2 probably.
Got a good story about that, but for later.
Yeah, it's yeah, and it's good to get, that stuff because it's not guaranteed because
you need third-party support here.
Because third-party support, Nintendo hasn't had good third-party support since the Super Nintendo. That was the last console where they had meaningful third-party support.
And Square Enix jumped off. Konami jumped off.
I mean, the GameCube was close. It had a lot of comebacks for different developers that had been disgusted with them in the past.
Yeah, and I mean it's and nowadays we've got Sonic is second and a half party. It's it clings to Nintendo, but technically it's not.
Desperately
Nintendo
for
yet.
life.
Yeah.
Clinging desperately to life to Nintendo.
I'll just put up that one picture of him trying to gasp for air.
But yeah, Mania was fun to play with Tails channel at E3. So.
Oh yeah,
Looking
Sonic.
forward to that.
It's probably worth mentioning Sonic because, as we were saying, there's probably going to be some Sonic Nintendo stuff coming. Sonic Mania is apparently very good. Apparently it is close to the way the originals were, though that's what I've heard Sega say. The last 15 times they've released a Sonic game, it still hasn't been true.
It is good. Bye.
I mean, this is basically just an old Sonic game. It's just so much that.
But more importantly, there's another Sonic game called Sonic Forces, in which you can create your own original character.
Yes.
Anyway,
your DeviantArt dreams have come true.
Yeah, it's my DeviantArt dreams won't have come true until they've had a few additions to the character creator.
Right. Okay, so maybe we should wrap this up based on that. A lot like the Sonic series, I know.
I want my character to inflate, please.
Oh my god.
Can I play as Big the Cat yet? Big's Fishing Adventure 3? Anybody? No? Anyway.
It's coming out soon.
Yes, it is.
It'll be 3 years old once you get this episode released.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Back before the apocalypse.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, after the squirrels started taking over.
It was called the United States of America back when we recorded this.
Pluto became a planet again and then stopped being a planet again.
It's true. And we went to Mars.
Probably.
Yeah, we did. We went to Mars, but we didn't much like it, so we came back.
Yeah.
All right.
The squirrels took over there too. I mean, we couldn't see that coming. Anyway.
You couldn't, we let them on the ship, but we just didn't think that they'd be all right, fool me once, All right, well, thank you guys for coming. Masay, Cody, the third guy, thank you so much for joining me in this panel. Yeah, I'll see you back. But I had a really good time talking with all of you. And,
somebody had to. I'm just kidding.
I'm doing my best. I'm trying to do.
He's trying.
Oh my god.
Okay, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it despite being bullied, but that wasn't your fault.
I'm being bullied. Masay keeps bullying me.
Masay keeps bullying me, and Seth and Cody, they're trying their best to being supportive, and
she's a big bully.
I give, and I give,
and she takes.
And she takes.
She does.
And then she really asks for seconds and then slaps me.
No, I don't.
Not anymore, since we caught you red-handed. Well, and him red-cheeked.
I was about, no, the red-handedness is all the blood that she took away.
Okay,
from my
we can
face.
stop here. Anyway, thank you all for watching.
Thank you guys so much for coming down. And
Yeah.
and
Then why are your hands so red?
Our next episode will be 2 hours of Masay crying. So we'll see you guys
ASMR?
next time. God, no, that's bad. That's real bad. Masay SMR.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we will see you guys next time. This has been DialogBOX. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my god.